So, hello and welcome back to Python Programming Lectures. This is a beginner friendly course. Till today, what we have covered is conditional statements and loopings, which is our main programming. And beyond this, we have covered all the theoretical knowledge which is required from keywords, tokens, and variables and multiple. So, if you haven't watched previous lectures, I highly recommend that you should go through them and you should make notes of each and every lecture so that it would be easy for you to recap whenever you want to revise some lectures or some topics which you have forgot. So it will make things much more easier to you. So till date, we have covered these many things, starting with our of the very first thing was outprint function we covered. Then we practice character sets and understand what a character sets. Later on, we move to tokens and understand what different types of token there are present in Python. We spend good amount of time in understanding each of the topic. Either it is keywords, either it is identifiers, literals, operators, punctuators, or anything else. And then we j- discussed what are keywords, all those keywords, how you can print the list of keywords. Then we discussed the conditional, like these are still keywords. Later on, we move to identifiers. How can we name identifiers? What are the rules? Later on, we move to literals. That there are different types of literals. What data we will be feeding to the identifier. For that, we understood what are literals and what are the values. Later on, we move towards operators. Like operator is something special, which is already known to the program, but it allows you to perform different type of mathematical, bitwise, binary, or different type of operations as per your requirement. Then after that, we covered conditional statements. In conditional statements, we studied if statement, if else, if else. Then match case, we practiced this question. And then in the very last lecture, we covered looping, how you can use loops for repetition of task. And we covered both for loop and while loop, how you can use it, the syntax, and the after covering while loop, we jumped towards the for loop, and in for loop, we went through the syntax. Later on, we discussed how range function create the collection. Later on, all three types of range function, like how you can pass different parameters to it, different arguments to it. So one is either you can just pass stop value, or you can just pass start and stop, or you can pass start, stop, and step. These three were the way three different ways you can use it. Then we learned how you can reverse the loop using range itself. And after this, we studied how you can use loop over collections. We practice it over string, list, and tuple. So this was the things which we covered in last lecture. And by the end of the lecture, we covered break, continue, and pass, by virtue of which you can manipulate the loops. So let's start with today's lecture. We will do some implementation with the help of for loop, while loop, so that you can have a better understanding that how loops create spaces there. So let's start with the very first question of today's class. I'll open the code editor so that it is visible to you. So let's So today's very first task is we need to print a square box like this using loops. So this is a 4 by 4 square. Each character you can consider as a asterisk symbol and a white space character. So this whole is one single unit or a single grid, you can say. So we need to make a program who will take input. If input is, let's say, 4, if user give us the input as 4, then what should our program should run, and it should uh, create a square grid of 4 by 4 like this here. So this is the work which this is the very first question which we will be dealing with today. So let's try to implement this using for loop so how you can do it. First, you need to take an input. So I'll take n as a variable, and I'll typecast the input so that it will be used as an numeric literal. Now I'll pass a message to the user, enter the length or something like this. Enter the length, let's say. So now what we will do, I'll use for loop. Here we will use two things. One is how we manipulate print statement and nesting of loop. So to create a grid, we need to iterate over it how many times? These many times. The first loop will iterate, the outer loop will iterate like this. One, then two, then three, then four. But the inner loop will be like this. One, two, three, four, like this. So this is so we'll try to implement it like this. So let's create two loops for I in range. As we know that to here the input is 4, and how many times the loop is going on? 1, 2, 3, 4. So by with the help of range n, we can achieve the same. Range n will generate n number of collections so that loop will keep on working till n. Likewise, I will create another variable or and another loop, as in because we are trying to print a square. So this is how. Now we need to manipulate the print statement. So what we will be doing here, we will just manipulate it with the end argument. We will make it as a blank null character. Now we will print here this this character asterisk and a white space so that it looks better. Now what we will be doing here, we will be printing an empty string. So by default, what will happen? It will give a white new line character whenever the inner loop gets completed. So let's try to run this and we will break it down that how things are working. So to run this, you can just type Python. We are in the working directory, so I don't need to write full file name or the location. So I'll just write Python and demo.py in the terminal. And if I run this, it is asking me to enter the length. Let's type 4 because that was our very first example. If I type 4, you can see this is getting printed. The same output as we expected. How it happened? Let's try to understand. So when the inner loop started, not the inner loop. So how we passed the value 4 here. So n got updated with the value 4. Then we move to the next line, the second line. So our outer loop got initiated. So it had to work 4 times. 0, 1, 2, and 3. These were the collections which got generated due to the range function because it is just the stop value. Later on, when the very first iteration of the outer loop happened, this thing operated, which is for j in range new line. Now, what will happen if I just comment it out and I uh, de-index? So, and now I run this, you will see this thing is getting printed like this. So the inner loop is doing what? It is printing these many lines, these this character these many times, and the end character, it is not letting the cursor move to the next line. So this is what the inner loop is doing. Now if I remove the empty print statement, which is doing nothing but printing a new line character, and now I run this, you will observe that all those characters are in a single line because we augmented it with end is equal to null character, due to which there is no new line. Hence, we are observing a complete straight line of total. If you will count it mathematically, it should be 16. There should be total 16 asterisk and a white space character. Here you can even count it also. Uh, It 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So this is how it is working. This is a fundamental of pattern printing, which you should understand so that you can later on print different types of pattern, either a central pyramid or a left side pyramid, right side pyramid, inverted pyramid. All these type of to solve these question on your own, you need to understand this. Now let's do one thing. We want to print only a diagonal, let's say. We don't want these characters for now. This is so if we want to achieve this thing, how we can do it for the input 4, and if let's say input is 5, we want it to be like this. So to achieve this, here we need to understand the index concept. So this is the zeroth index. This is then first, this is first, second, third, and fourth. I need to make it bigger so that it will be much more easier for you all to understand. So this is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the index. Now, if you will see this, we are printing the asterisk symbol only when the value for the I and the value for the j is same. If we are doing so, we will get there should be a asterisk symbol. So to apply this here, we need to use the conditional if else block. So if I is equals to j, we need to print an asterisk symbol. Otherwise, it should be a white space, double white space. So this is what we want to have. Now this is single white space. Let's make it double. Now if I run this, we should get this when I'll pass the value 5. So let's run this. Here we will see that we are getting a diagonal which is starting from the top left and ending towards the right. So this is how you can print a diagonal in a grid. Now let's say you want to print it otherwise. From here you want to do. So here you need to understand that the it's I'll just remove it so that become it would be much more easier for you to understand. So, oh, there we go. So here we don't want it. We want it on the fourth. Then later on, it should be at the third. Then it should be here, here, then here. Here you will notice a very beautiful thing. Mathematically, the sum for the I index and the j index is equal to what? Is equal to the value which we are passing. So let's say here the value, this is j, this is the inner loop, let's say. This is not inner loop, this is the outer loop. This is the inner loop. So whenever the inner loop index and the outer loop index is same, if we print an asterisk symbol only at that situation, we will achieve a diagonal which is starting from the top right corner and it will end at the left corner. So if we demonstrate it, what we need to do, we need to make the sum is equals to what? We need to compare whether it is equals to n. If I do it and if I run it, we should observe a diagonal which is starting from right to left. Now let's put a value 5 or 4, whatever. So here you can see now here we have observed something different. It is happening because when so the sum is like n minus 1. So that's why it should be n minus 1. It is the inner diagonal. So due to which we receive a different output, which wasn't what we expected. So this is how you can print the diagonal. It should be n minus 1 because when we will start the loop from n from the range function itself, if we will consider that collection, then the index will start from 0 and till the value n minus 1. So due to which the sum can never be more than n itself for the diagonal. If you want to make it 5 something equal to the n, then for that you need to start the index from 1 itself, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like this. So for that, we already have studied it. You can use range 1, which is the starting value, and then the ending value should be n plus 1 because the range stops the collection at the at a value before the stopping value. So that's how you can achieve it. Now we have printed a grid. We have understood how we can print diagonals. Now let's try to print a empty square. So for that, you need to understand that what is happening in an empty square. Now let's make an empty square here. And there we go. Now, whenever you want to print an empty square, you need to use the if condition like this. So here you will observe whenever either of the value of I or j is equals to 0 or it is equals to the n minus 1, we need to put an asterisk there. This grid, which is inside the box, here the index start from what? It start from 1 comma 1 till 3 comma 3 and no other value. So 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3. Either it's 1 comma 4, we need to put an asterisk. So the values which are essential for us of the index are 0 or n minus 1. So let's try to demonstrate it here. If I make it, if the sum we don't want to do it, let's comment it out so that whenever we want to print another pattern, we will take reference of it. Now, as I have taught you earlier, that we can use logical operators. So we will be using logical operators here. And of course, comparison operators we are using, the double equal to is the comparison operator itself. So now we want to make sure that either I or j is equals to 0 or is equals to 4. Or, or to make it generalize, we will consider this index as n minus 4. So if I is equals to 0 or j is equals to 0 or and or I is equals to n minus 1 or j is equals to n minus 1. If this is the situation, we need to print a asterisk with a white space to match the grid balance. So let's do this and here we go. So this is how uh, the code should look. If I try to run this, let's clear it once so that the terminal looks much more cleaner. Now I'll try to run it. Let's put a value 4. So here you will observe that the output which we are receiving is something not what we expected. Now, what we did here, we asked the compiler or the interpreter to print an asterisk symbol only at the location wherever the value of I should be 0 or j should be 0 or I is equal to n minus 1 or j is equal to n minus 1. But what is actually happening here? So here now for our statements, what happen actually is that uh, let's say here I is 0. So this is uh, this is our I index basically. So here whenever I is 0, it will print an asterisk. J is 0, it will print an asterisk. Not j is 0, still I is 0. So it will keep printing asterisk. Now, after printing is done, what it will do later on will then just give me a minute. But now let's try to debug this where it went wrong. Now I'll just comment it out. Not comment it out. I'll just remove it and I'll put it at the bottom line so that the code is visible. Now, to make it much more easier to observe, let's put an X here so that we know where it is printing in white space and where it is printing an empty space, asterisk, sorry. So if I run this, and let's put a value 4. So now let's try to understand what is happening here. So the value is okay. Here we have written n plus 1. Let's make it n again. So this was the error. There was no logical error. If we will run this again, now here you can see the crosses are here. So we were absolutely correct with the reasoning. The only error here was the range function, which was initializing the inner loop, which is this from 1 to 5, not from 1 to n instead of 0 to n minus 1. So due to which we expected this thing. So this was an logical error which we face today. So this is how programming moves up. Now this is another. So this is how you can print an empty, a hollow square. So let's print a 6 by 6 hollow square, and let's do this. Now you can see a 6 by 6 hollow square is being printed. Now what if I want to print a pyramid instead of this, like a pyramid like this, which is values like this: one star, 2 stars, 3 stars. Let me show you so that it becomes much easier for you to see. So like this, if I want to print a pyramid like this, how I can achieve it? There are two ways. Either you can use string manipulation here, or you can just do this loop. With the help of loop, you can just manipulate the grid and achieve it. So now we will try to do it both ways. We want to achieve a s- half pyramid which is right angle, or we want to achieve a right angle triangle. So let's take an input from the user. Input, enter length, and there we go. Now we typecasted it. We will create for I in range, n for j in range, n print. Now we'll just put a pass here and let's try to understand what is happening. For that, we need to understand the index. Now, index move like this. So this is the zeroth index. So this is how you have to visualize it. Now, this is the zeroth index. So whenever I is 0, it is printing only till the value of uh, j. Like, so you need to visualize it. Let me write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a white space. 0, 1, 2, 3, and a 4 here. Now, if you are able to see it, whenever the value of I is less than equal to j, it is not I basically. Like when the value of I less than equals to j, it is printing asterisk till then, and when it is greater than value of I, it stops. So let's try to implement it and see what is, are we correct, or if j is less than or equals to I, print. This is a comparison operator which compares whether the value is less or equal to the value we are comparing it with. So let's print a white space. Uh, we'll use this only because it looks much clearer and better. Else we want to uh, ask it to print a white space character, and you need to always make sure that after your inner loop code is complete, you move towards a outer loop and you print an empty print statement so that a new line gets created every single time the inner loop finishes. Now let's try to run this. I'll put a value of 5. Here you can see a right angle pyramid. So another way to achieve the same output is you can do string manipulation. So for string, if you know, we won't even need double loop or nested loop. We can achieve it using single loop. For I in range, I'll use this and I'll do print this asterisk multiplied by I. Now, as I taught you in the earlier lecture, that Whenever we do multiply string with any numeric literal, what happens is it gets printed multiple times. Let's have a look here. If I print, let's say asterisk into 5, the output will be 5 time asterisk like this. So we will use the same concept to achieve this pattern. So let's try to demonstrate it. Now we will run it. Sorry, my bad. I opened the. Now, if I write 5, here you can see the same output we have achieved. And now, if I comment it out, you will see we will get two different. Uh, so here it is. With the help of this, you can print your pattern. Let's say if you want to print a small little flag, like a bigger triangle at bottom and a smaller triangle uh, that you can use just like here we will make it n minus 3. Let's remove and plus 7. So plus 7 now. So like this, you can print a flag or whatever you want to. Now we have printed a right angle triangle which starts from the top and ends at the right bottom. So now if we want to make it start from the top right instead of top left, how you can achieve it? Let's see. Here, sorry, my bad. So here you can see we need not to print any character till the sum here is which is I plus j. It is not greater than equals to the sum of n minus 1. So here you have, let's say here the value of n is 4, n is 5. So the characters, the index gets generated like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Total 5 different positions. So what is happening here? The the sum of I plus j is 0. We skip it. We print a white space only. Then we move forward in the loop. We compare again. I plus j, now it is 0 plus 1. It is still less than the sum of n minus 1, which is for now n minus 1 is 4. So we will still not print any character. Like this, we will keep moving on. And whenever the sum starts to be either equal to the value of n minus 1 or greater than that, then we have to print a character. Now let's try to implement it. Here you can see it. For I in range n, for j in range n, two loops started. Now the sum should be I plus j. It should be either greater than, sorry, either it should be greater than or equals to n minus 1. Now, if I run this, let's clear it once so that it looks much more cleaner. The output is achieved. Now, with the help of string manipulation, how we can achieve it, let's see. I'll just clear it. Instead of this, let's remove all the code. N is equals to n, typecasting. You should never forget to typecast your input as per the required data type which you need to handle. So for now, we'll show a message enter len, and for I in range n. Here you will see that the value of n is 5. So with every moving index, so let's say when the index iteration is first, so at the first line, achieve value is what? 4 times asterisk and 4 times white space and 1 asterisk. Later on, it moved and the value of white space reduced and asterisk increased. So to achieve this, we will do a mathematical expression. We will make it start from 1 and it should go till n minus 1 and it should print white space character how many times? N minus I times, and with this it should print sorry, then it should print I times the asterisk characters. So but here if I run this, you will see one issue, which is it is not well aligned. Let's run this so that it is showing an error, which is a type error. Now, why it is showing in type error? Let's try to figure out. Let's put parentheses around here so that it evaluates it. Now, here you can see it is getting printed. So this is how we can achieve it. And as we know that uh, there is a gap here. Why there is a gap here? Let's try to understand. What is happening here? We are printing the spaces n minus I times, but with the comma here, we are putting an extra white space. To remove it, we need to put this separation argument as null character. If I run this again, there's no extra white space. It the width get reduced and it's in the original form. This is how we can print the loop in two ways. So now let's try to print a TNT symbol, which is like this. I'll put so this is the symbol I'm talking about. So to get this symbol, how we can do it? Here we need to print a hollow square, and after printing it, we need to print these diagonals. So we have already studied that how we can print it. So now let's try to use multiple if conditional statements and try to achieve this as output. So let's print it, and it is much more easier to achieve this output with the help of grid box. Right? Because it is how you can achieve each component. So by virtue of which you will be able to achieve. Now we will take n. Now I need to print a hollow square. So if I is equals to 0 or j is equals to 0 or n or I is equals to n minus 1 or j is equals to n minus 1. If if this need to print an asterisk, and we need to make sure that end is what, a null character, so that a new line character doesn't get printed. Now we will print this thing. If I run this program, what will happen? It won't give us the designated output which we want. It is giving something absurd. Why it is happening? Because the very first thing, you haven't given else statement. You need to print the white spaces also in the grid. So for that, let's do the needful and rerun this. Here you will see it's still not the output which we are demanding. It is just a hollow square. Now, with the help of or statement itself, you can add multiple conditions. Now, what I told you, if I is equals to j, print it. It will do what? It will print the diagonal. Now, if I do this, it will the diagonal should come like this from here to this, like this. Here you see we got the our very first diagonal. Now, for the other diagonal, what I taught you, I taught you that the sum should be equals to n minus 1. These are the things which you should remember. It makes your task a little easier and it saves a lot more time. So let's put a value 7. So here you can see we are able to print this with the help of for loop, with the help of looping and conditional statements. Now we are done with this. As now we are done with this, let's try to print few alphabets. Now we will consider a grid of 7 by 7 so that it becomes much more easier for us to understand it. 0, 1, 2, sorry, it should be 6, till 6 only, because we got our 7 different indexes to this. Now I'll print two alphabets. One of my what the initials of my full name, R and K. My name is Rishabh Kumar, so I'll print my name alphabets, which is R and K. So for R, I need this. Let me print it. Now I need a stick like this for the R. Later on, like this. If I do something like this, I'll get my name alphabet. Now, here you can see what is happening here. I can just increase the size for this instead. It is up to you that how you want to design your alphabet. Whereas the concept remains same. We need to manipulate the it looks much this one was far better, older one. So let's implement, try to implement this. For this, I need to print alphabets or print the asterisk whenever uh, the value of I is not I, but whenever the value for j is 0, I always need to print an asterisk. This is one observation. So let's keep on. So whenever you want to print an print a pattern, you should do what? You should start with observing pattern. So I have observed that whenever j is 0, there's a full line. So that's the simplest statement I can do. I'll just make it whenever j is equals to 0, print an asterisk. If I run this, and here you see 5 characters top to bottom. Rest, if I select it, this is what? This is a grid. If I do control shift B, it, it happened because there wasn't any input in input.txt. Let's put a value of 5, and here I need to open output.txt. Now if I run this again, control shift V, if I do, you'll see now I'm doing this so that you can see that these are the white spaces which are getting printed in the grid. To make you observe this, that's why I did it. Otherwise, there was zero purpose of doing it. So we printed the state like now we want to print whenever the value of I is equals to 0, and whenever the value of j is equals to, whenever the value of I is 0 or it's 3, we need to print till the value of j is less than equals to 4. So for that, what we will be doing here, let's do this. Instead of, we can just use or here, or what we observed, either I is equals to 0 or j is equals to, or I is equals to, what is this? This is 3. This, and when these are true and the value for j is less than 4, less than equal to 5, sorry, less than equal to 4 and less than 5, whenever this is true, then and there only we need to put an asterisk in. And j is less than equals to 4, or we can just put j is less than 5. If I run this, here you can see, okay, so we should remove input, and because we are taking in consideration the 7 by 7 grid, we should not make it much more complicated for us. Let's hard code it 7 for now. Now if I run this, then you can see we are getting an output like this. Now I want to print this. This is what? This is 1 comma where I is equals to 1 and j is equals to 5 and I is equals to, okay. So what I'll do here, or this is one whole, or, so what was common here? J. J is equals to 5 is common. So, and operator precedence I taught you. So due to which and is getting evaluated before. So the precedence, you need to also keep that in mind. G is equal to 5 and I is equals to something, or I is equals to something, which was 1 and 2. I is equal to something, or I is equals to If this is true, print an asterisk. If I run this, something went wrong here. Now, I was telling you that you should focus over operator precedence, and I messed it up on my own. So if I run this again, here you can see a beautiful arc with the effectors. Now we have to bring this diagonal. For this diagonal, we need to see the observation. The sum here we can't take it, but whenever so there can't also do this that I was so it starts with this goes like this from here to here to here like this. You can see my cursor. Now we need to figure out a way that how we can put it. If these are the my approach, which I'm telling you, if you find a better approach, please let me know also so that I learn something new. Because learning makes you a better person every day. So even I want to learn that how you guys are achieving the result. So here I want it like this. So whenever the value is like the value of j is so it is starting with j is equals to 2, 3, and 4, and we stop there, and I is 4, 5, 6. So so here what I'm observing is that if I do this is j, so if I do remember j plus 2 is equals to I. If I do this j plus 2 is equals to I. But I do this, will I get the diagonal? Yes, we got the diagonal. So now this is this is right now. We will be printing K. So let's comment this whole section so that we can range and change range and again. Case for example, uh, so I will be doing it. So if we do it like this, we can achieve K. Now let's try to implement it and see whether we can reach till this. Of course, we can reach here. Now, I do the very first thing, I'll print the straight line. If, which is if j is equals to 0, I need to print else, print white space. And you need to make sure that you are printing an empty white space, else you will observe something completely different. It might be a lit off spaced. So for that, you need to use double white space characters because we are doing pattern printing to see the mathematical beauty of the grid. Now we are done with this. If I run this, you'll see a straight line. Now I want this diagonal. So if I see what is the sum here, So this is I 0 plus 4, 1 plus 3, 2 plus 2, 4. So here, if we we can see an observation if I plus j equals to 4, uh, if I plus j is equals to 4, then this cycle is getting covered up. So let's run this. You can see we have achieved this diagonal. Now I want to achieve the quadratic diagonal. How I can do it? Same, we will subtract something and we will try to get this diagonal as our reference. Now here it is, I equals to 2 and j is 0. So I minus 2 is equals to j, or I is equal to j plus 2. If I do this and I try to run it, beautiful. We achieved our k also. Now that's how we are printing our two different alphabets. One is R, another is P. Now, have you seen those letter moving boards where the dot dot keeps on moving and we see a meaningful word there on the screen with the help of LEDs? If you want to achieve that result in your terminal, you can do what? You need to take this inner block, inner loop, and just put it inside this loop. Like the moment your first inner loops ends, put this one. And if I run this whole, let me comment it out so that if I run this, here you can see it is coming as a whole letter placed from left to right. So what is happening here actually? When the for I in range in the very first this iteration occurred, this loop, this line was Python was dealing with this line basically. So when this got finished, Python was here. Uh, and when this got finished, Python was here. So like this, we did it. If I do uh, Control Shift B and I open my output.txt, here you can see RK is getting printed beautifully in front of us. So that's how you can print as many alphabets, as many words or names you want. You can achieve the same using it, using the same concept in different other programming languages like C, C++, Java, JavaScript. Every language which supports conditional statements and looping statements, you can do it. So these are the few program we practiced today. So I'll suggest you that you let me show you. Give me a second. So, so these were my uh, notes which I created when I was learning C programming. So I created different folders with what I learned that day and what I learned, what were the sessions I practiced. Like this, I created a directory, a folder basically, and I was checked on data. So, so I will suggest you that you also do it. So this was my very first program which I learned and I printed my whole name using C, and this is the list of complete different alphabets A to Z. So if you want, I'll just comment it out in Medium. I'll just share you the uh, all these alphabet pattern that how you can print it. So all these symbols which you are seeing here is nothing but the logical operators. This is the logical OR and this is the logical AND. This is equivalent of and OR which we are studying in Python right now. So this is nothing new. It says that the syntax got changed. It looks different here, but the work is exactly same. So I suggest you that you go on, well, search different questions and practice few. The very first thing you should learn your mathematical basics, like how you can print factorial. Let's implement factorial in Python. I'll open my tutorial directory. I'll share this with you. Don't worry about it. And this one help asking for use just convert it, read it, convert it in Python and share your own data repository with me. And I'll look over it. And you can add me uh, as a contributor so that I can view it. Now let's try to implement factorial. So if I if you don't know what the factorial, basically mathematically, if I write this is equals to one. If I write this is equals to one. If I write this is equals to two. If I write this is equals to six. Uh, Zero factorial is the base condition. X is equals to one. What is one factorial? One factorial is one into zero factorial. Factorial is two into one factorial. Because this is recursion basically. If you see that this condition is referring to this is referring to something, and slowly and steadily, these conditions are going to a basic which is constant. So we'll learn it. But for now, this is what factorial is. Now to achieve to get the output of factorial, what will how you can do it? We'll take an input equal to it input and enter number if n is less than 0, right? A valid number else, right? We need to print something. So what we need to print? We will use a for dash. We will make a variable which will store a factorial. So back equals to one for I in range uh, 1 comma n plus 1, and what we will keep on multiplying it with itself, and in the end we will print it. So factorial is like this. We will do run this, enter 5, 120 should come because 5 4 into 3 into 1. If you do it, I will do it for you here only here itself, so that you don't need to worry. If I do this, 120 is the output. This is how we can achieve it. If somebody enter value, let's say minus 5, it will tell, okay, you have entered a invalid output, invalid input, so that's why we are not giving you an satisfactory result. So this is how you can implement factorial using this. In the next lecture, I'll teach you functions and we will understand what is recursion. Then we will study string, list, and tuple. And if we are left with ample amount of time, then we will also try to cover sets. But I think these three topics are itself heavy enough to consume a 1 hour long time. uh, we won't be focusing much more on indexing because I think that I have already taught you in depth how index starts in string, list, and tuple. We have already covered it. But if you still believe that you need an overview, I'll try to cover it in the next lecture. Please let me know about this in the comments. Till then, take care, bye bye, and keep practicing.